everyone and welcome to Crafts by the Bow. Today I'm using the Hello Cupcake set, which is one of the free items with Sale-a-bration. And if you spend 60 Canadian dollars on any order from any of the catalogues that are current or even the clearance rack, you can order something from the special catalogue. And some of them are stamps, some are ribbon or paper, some are embellishments, little wooden butterflies, and some are available if you spend $120. So if you spend $120, there are a couple of sets where you can get, I think one's a set of frames for the tea set, and the other is the Lasting Lily set that I've used before. But this is a $60 set, and it's a photopolymer set, so it's really easy to use. And I've seen some really pretty cards with it, but I thought I'd have a go at making an acetate card. I've made them lots of times in the past. I don't think I've ever made a video for them, but I'll show you how to make it. It's really easy and it's just a little bit different. And let me put the stamp set away. Okay, so to start off, you're going to need a piece of card, and I've chosen black, and black's hard to see, so I've cut the same in green in the Call Me Clover in the hopes that you can see that a little bit better. And it's a 5.5 by 5.5 square of card, and I've scored it at 1 1/4, just on one of the sides. And what you need to do is just fold over that score line. And our card is going to be a horizontal one. So that's going to be the top of our card. And then you need to cut 3 more pieces, and you choose the same colour as your card base. So I've chosen the black, and they're 1 1/4 by 5.5. And one of them is going to be at the bottom of the card, and the other 2 we're going to use inside the card so that you can't see where the acetate joins. Okay, so here's the main part of our card that we need. You're then going to need a piece of Whisper White that goes in the middle here, and that's cut just 1/4 inch smaller. So it's 5 1/4 by 4, and it just gives that nice little border, and you know, it matches up with our DSP where we're going to put it on here, so that everything looks nice and neat. Now you're going to need either 2 or 4 pieces of DSP, and I'm using some of the subtles, and I've chosen the Highland Heather because that's the colour I'm using on the cupcake. So the subtles come in lots of colours, you know, all of our subtle inks, but there's 2 main patterns. There are narrow stripes, oops, with small dots, and there are wider stripes. Can't get these out. There are wider stripes in each colour, and they have the larger dots. And I've chosen the wider stripe pieces. So I'm just going to attach those. Let's find some glue, excuse me. Okay, so you can use any glue you like. Snail is really good for this. It doesn't have to be extra strong glue or anything. So Tombow works well because, as you know, I cut that too long. As you know, I like the Tombow just because it gives you a little bit of wriggle room. Are these all too long? No, can't imagine why I cut those longer. Okay, I'm going to have the spotty side on the front. And just make sure that it's evenly spaced so that you get the same little border at the left and the right. Because then when we put our card underneath, that will match up with those lines. And then on one of your strips of black or whatever colour you've chosen, you do exactly the same. You're just going to put on there one of the pieces of DSP. There we go. But we're not going to attach that to anything yet. Just move those out of the way. Next, you're going to need your little piece of acetate. And I've cut it the same size as the base of the card, sort of the back piece of the card. So it's cut at 5.5 by 4.25. But I do find that when you fold this down, sometimes the acetate can just catch on this score line. So instead of 4.25, it's just a smidge tinier. It's not even 1/8 of an inch tinier, it's just a smidge so that it doesn't catch on there. And what we're going to do, we're just going to line it up with the bottom of the card, and you'll see that I can close that quite easily. And to attach it to this, I'm going to pop a little piece of tearing tape along. So you can use glue dots for this. I don't suggest using Tombow because sometimes it spreads out and it doesn't actually glue down the piece that you want it to glue down, and it can escape sort of out of the sides of the card. And I just find that tearing tape works best. And let's take these little pieces of paper off. Okay, and again, I'm just going to line this up on the bottom, and then I'm just going to close my card. Okay, so there's the start of the acetate. Okay, and then with this, I'm going to put tearing tape on the bottom. Ooh, that was a wobbly piece. I think it was me that was wobbly, not the paper, not the tape. There we are. And with this, I'm going to line it up the bottom of the card on top of the acetate. Just make sure it's closed like that. There we are. Now it looks like I've got a little bit of glue or something on here. And the best way to clean this is with hydrogen peroxide because it takes off any sticky marks. So let me just find a little cloth. Here we go. I'm not going to spray it onto the card. I'm just going to spray it onto my cloth and just rub. I'm not sure if it's on the front or the back. Might as well go over the whole card while I'm there. There we go, that's gone. That's cleaned it up. Okay, now, on the inside, you can see that we can see all the tape lines, and I don't really want to be able to see the tape lines. So that's what the other pieces of black were for. And this time, I'm only going to put one piece of tearing tape down it. Just because it's on the inside. We don't need lots and lots on the inside. Okay, and I'm just going to glue that over, and that way when they open the card, they're not looking at the back of the tape. Oh no, tear tape. I'm just going to push that down with my bone folder. Because now that there's two pieces of card under there, it's just a little bit thicker. There we are. Okay, now if you wanted, you could cut a little white strip of card here and have another layer and maybe do some writing on there. But I'm going to save my writing for the inside. So the next thing we need to do is to make the cupcake. And you can see that the cupcake comes in 3 different pieces. So here is the bun case and then a little bit of the cake, and you can choose what colour cake you want it to be. I'm choosing like a crumb cake colour so that it looks just like a vanilla cake, and then the frosting. And also there are these little sprinkles that you can add, and this little heart on a pick, which looks quite sweet. So let's stamp one of those up. Let's find my, there we go, here's my scrap. And I'm going to do the base of the cupcake in early espresso. Now, I'm ready for a new inking on my early espresso. I noticed when I was using it earlier, it's getting a little bit dry, but I'm sure I'll have enough just for this. I'm going to turn my card that way so that I just get a little bit more space for when I cut it out. I'll just make sure my card's straight. And here's my bun case. I suppose it's a cupcake case, isn't it? It's my English things coming out there. I still call them buns. Clean that one. Okay. And then I think that's all I need that for at the moment. So I'm going to find my crumb cake and do the little piece of cake. And I don't know if you can see, maybe you can see better on here. The cake at the bottom isn't a solid line, and it's so that it matches up on these little zigzags here. Now, I found it a little bit difficult to match up. I think you have to be sort of right on top of it, and my eyes aren't that good. So what I did was I stamped it. Oh, look at that. I stamped it perfectly that time. But I stamped it, and then I got my crumb cake marker out and just filled in a couple of the little gaps. No problem if you don't get it all filled in properly. Of course, I couldn't stamp it like that earlier when I was stamping, could I? And then I'm using the Highland Heather because that's the colour that matches the DSP I chose. And that's for the frosting on the cake. And it looks like one of those Mr. Whippy ice creams. Remember when you used to get the ice cream van coming round? And it was always Mr. Whippy. Or back home, it was Burgess ice cream. And that was a locally made ice cream. Oh, and it was just to die for. Okay, so now we're going to line up this part with this little hollow here. And again, my eyes aren't good at lining this sort of stuff up. It's easier on the Stamparatus, but when it's a photopolymer piece, it is easier. Now I can show you what I mean about the crumb cake marker. You see here, I've got a little gap. I don't want a gap. So what I did was I got my light crumb cake marker out, and I just filled that in. I thought nobody will ever know now, will they? There we go. Nobody knows. And then last of all, I've got my little sprinkles, and I've got the little heart pick. And I don't know. Let's try putting the sprinkles on. The one I practiced earlier, I didn't put sprinkles on. But let's have a go. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Not sure if there's a right way, a wrong way, or anything. I don't think it really matters. Oh, that's quite cute. Wipe that and put it back. And then I'm going to do the little pick as well, and I'm going to do that in the same colour, in the early espresso. Just hold it down for a second. There we are. So that's my cake all finished. Pop these away and make a little bit of room. And so what I decided to do was to use my ovals, and I used the biggest one of the stitched ovals because that seemed to be just quite a nice fit for the cake. I'm going to pop that there, and let's just roll it through the big shot. I'm just going to line it up, pop these pieces on, and then just quickly roll it through. It makes such a difference having these framelets where you can just quickly cut out shapes. I do like my punches, but I like these stitched framelets and the little scallops and things that we don't get punches in. Is that looks so much nicer with just that little edge. Okay, so here's my card back again. And I'm not going to put the inside there yet. I'm actually going to put the little cake on first. And I'm going to attach it just with dimensionals. So I'd like it just to pop off the card a little bit. So I put one at the top and one at the bottom so that it catches just on this paper and not on the acetate. Ooh, that one flew back. I just make sure I've got my card straight. And I'm just going to put the cupcake off to the left-hand side there. And then let me find where I put my little insert piece. What I did was I put my white card inside and I just held it there. I didn't glue it down. So it's just like this. And then I chose one of the sentiments and I chose the sweet wishes. And I want to put the sentiment here, but on the underneath, sort of on the inside, so that it'll still shine through the acetate, but when you open the card, the writing will be there as well. So I just kind of eyeballed where I needed it and where that was going to be. I think, right, this is where I want it. So I inked it up, just popped it down there. And so you can see, this is what I did. And let's have that put it inside now. I'm just going to line it up in here so that the edges here are even, and then they'll match up with where we've got the DSP. And you remember I said you could cut 2 or you could cut 4 pieces of the little DSP? Well, the extra pieces were for inside because I didn't think the black was going to look very good. So I'm just going to cut these to the right length. I know they have to be 5.5, and I presume I've left them at 6. Yeah, because that's the width of the DSP in the packet. So let's cut that off. And because this is sticky, the other piece that I put glue on, I don't want to put that into the trimmer. So I'm just going to pop that on at the end, like that. There we go, that's it stuck on. And get my scissors, and I'm just going to cut that off so it's the same length. And that way I don't get glue on the inside of my scissors and I don't get it on the inside of my trimmer. And then you could, oh, are these the right length now? How come they're still not the right length? Oh, because I cut them at 5.5. I only need it 5.25. Dear me. I think I need to go have a coffee or something. So let's try again at 5.25. Okay, I'll do the same again. I'll find the little slither that I cut off, stick it right on the end. Put it right on the end and then cut that off with my scissors. And they should both be the same length now. Yeah, near enough. Yeah. Okay, let's try again. I don't ever like to re-edit my videos so that they're perfect, because I want you to see that all of us do things wrong. All of us have little mistakes, and you know, it doesn't always go right the first time. So if I edit all that out, nobody would ever know. And then you come to make it yourself and you think, oh no, what will I do now? And really, it doesn't matter. So there we are. It looks much better inside, doesn't it, with just that little strip on. When you do your writing, you just have to remember to use the top and the very bottom. So there we go. That's my card for today, a little acetate Hello Cupcake that just stands up really pretty. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed that, mistakes and all. And next time I'll be showing you a different card, but using the same set. So thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.